And on to other stories, a debate has flared up over sources of funding of South African political parties. This after ANC Chief Whip Jackson Mthembu described the 150 million rand shared among political parties represented in Parliament as a pittance. Mthembu says regulation of party funding will prevent those with vested interests from influencing party representatives. He says effective functioning of political parties is fundamental to the promotion of constitutional democracy. Mthembu says the ANC will propose then to formulate an ad hoc committee in Parliament to deal with the funding issue. 13 political parties currently share 150 million rand in public funding. In 2016, the parties shared 121.5 million rand based on their performance in the 2014 general elections. The ANC received the bulk at 72.9 million rand, the DA at 24.8 million rand, and the EFF at 7.5 million rand, and other parties shared the balance. Now, key questions arise after the ANC Chief Whip call for transparency on party funding. Firstly, can political parties survive or function without private funding? And state funding of political parties, is this the only solution to curb influence of private funding and viable for about a dozen parties to be funded and sustained with state funding? And lastly, should private funding of parties be allowed as long as there is a full disclosure? And will ending private funding end the use of money or power in the election campaigns? And joining us live in studio is Kenneth Mokgatle. He is a PAC spokesperson. We hope to have Mlondi Mkhize, ANC spokesperson, on the line as well. Mr. Mokgatle, legay? So what is the issue? I mean, 150 million rand to share for political party funding based on your representation, one would argue that is more than adequate. What more do political parties need public funding for?
Thank you very much for this particular opportunity. As the PAC, we have been raising concerns since 1993 to say that there should never be any government or any business entities which are funding political parties, because what they do is that they influence the policy direction of the party which is in government because of the favors that they have done for them during the manifestos or during the election time. So parties should be funded only by the government. And that money, we are saying as the PAC that it should not be shared proportionally. When we go to the elections, we all pay the same amount to the IEC. There's no majority party or there's no small parties. We are saying that at least the first amount which are released by the state, 50% of it, we should all get the 50%, or we should all get equitable redistribution of the money to recover from the spending during the elections. And with regard to the private funding, we are saying that all the agencies or the business entities which are willing to fund the different political parties, they should all be exposed, or they should be known, because we have seen what happened in Marikana. The DA never said anything, or they never marched even to Marikana when people were killed. That shows you that having a business interest also funding political parties is very dangerous for democracy, especially our young democracy in South Africa.
All right, we're joined on the line by Mlondi Mkhize, ANC Youth League spokesperson. Mr. Mkhize, thanks so much for your time. Just dealing with the transparency of whether we will see political parties willingly opening up their books and their funders so that we can scrutinize and see where the unfair influence might come from. Is this the ANC's stance after calling for a more transparent process in private and public funding?
Firstly, the view of the Youth League in relation to party funding is that, one, I don't think that we can say that people who fund political parties determine the policy direction. But we must concede to the fact that there is a certain level of influence that they might have, but it's not that they determine their policies. Secondly, is that anyone who calls for a transparent party funding model, we don't know whether it will really be transparent, because you see, there are many ways of keeping funding unknown. I think what is important for us as the ANC clique is that we ought to maintain at all times that party funding should be given to those parties, but equally those parties should be acting in the best interest of society. I know of no political party that is formed out of a cause that is divorced from society, and therefore I don't think that those that fund political parties can actually redirect political parties to forget about what is it that they are established for.
Yeah, but we have the PAC saying that monies should be shared equitably and not necessarily as per party representation. What's your view?
Well, if we are speaking about party funding that comes from a certain institution, it's something else. But I just imagine when we say political parties ought to share equal proportion distribution of funds, whether from parliament or wherever, how do you begin to do that when there are political parties that have got bigger constituencies than others? Because in essence, you would be giving monies to small parties which would not know what to do, but equally you are likely to squeeze the stretch of major political parties, because they would not now be able to reach out all of their constituencies because the money is equal. But for us, I think that what is important is that the party funding.
Mlondi, you still there? Please just move around. Okay, we've lost Mlondi. We'll try to get him on the line. Just your reaction, Remo Kgatle, in the sense that it doesn't make sense to have to equally distribute funds to parties that may not behave as, be doing as well as more successful parties, as it were.
Then it also does not make sense to say that when you go to the election, for instance, in 2019, that you expect even the so-called small parties not to participate in the election. However, you are saying that we are a free democratic state. We must encourage even those who do not even have money to register to contest in the elections. It becomes very difficult for parties like Azapo to make comeback because where are they going to get the 500,000 which is required by the IEC?
Yeah, but I mean, if you can't be trusted with a little, or you've shown an initiative and capacity to at least fundraise and be able to run your own operations, and you're solely relying on a government, isn't there even a greater temptation to then want to use those funds for operational expenses?
Then what we are doing when you are saying that the state should use that proportional method to fund the political parties, you are simply attracting political parties to go to United States and make such fundraising. And when they have done so, we have seen with Arang, Dr. Mampela Rampele, before forming her political party, she went to America to meet the potential funders, which is very dangerous for democracy like ours to have countries or external business companies, multinational companies, investing in political parties, because they will later, this is simply what is called the state capture, because what they will want the favors in return for what they have done for a political party. So you are saying that the PAC should confront other organizations in other countries to say that we are demanding money after winning the elections, we'll give you this mines or we'll give you business to do in South Africa.
Yeah.
This is
How do you prove that, though? And I mean, as Mlondi rightfully said, it's very easy to conceal your true wealth or assets in various sophisticated accounting techniques and mechanisms. So how then do you ensure that there is the transparency if there isn't willingness, or that parties are not forced by law to necessarily disclose?
We are having banks in South Africa which can easily share the information with the public. And for an example, with the state funds that we are receiving from the parliament, every time we account to the parliament to say we have done this and that with the money should only be used for party maintenance and nothing more than that. So it can be monitored and it can be regulated. We have seen that. Even the DA today, it's very dangerous to trust some people without even knowing who is funding this particular people. And for this, we must say that the ad hoc committee, which is being proposed by the ANC, we are supporting it and we are welcoming it. We are saying that it should not only include the political parties, but it must also include other NGOs like Helen Suzman and many others, which are always disrupting or which are having the task. Because we do not know who really funds these particular NGOs and why are they existing.
Yeah, just very briefly explain to our viewers, and for clarity on my part, what the danger of private investors funding a political party are? If you can cite examples as well.
Can you
As in the true cost of democracy, because one would think that as a concession or rather, or trade-off, you might want to sell state-owned entities as an example. I'm not sure if that's where you're going with that line of argument.
Yes, the dangers of having private funding from private institutions is that they influence the policy direction of the party, and especially that when that party is in government. For an example, having the DA currently they have prospect of becoming the governing party in 2019 or in 2024. But it is very fair for the audience at home or for the citizens of this country to know who is funding or who is behind the DA and which policy are they advancing for whose interest. It is very dangerous to only leave it at that because we know that they are being funded, and they are being funded by either external governments or private institutions, and people should know, people who vote for them. I would like to go back also to the statement made by my colleague Comrade Mlondi to say that the ANC or the PAC does not only being voted to power by its constituency or by its membership who have affiliated with them, but it is voted by general public in the country. We go to all villages when we go and sell our manifestos. We do not only go to the constituency of the PAC, but we go and sell our manifesto to even ANC members to say that they vote for the PAC.
All right. We're going to have to leave it there. Kenneth Mokhatle, the PAC spokesperson. Mlondi Mkhize is ANC Youth League spokesperson. We'll await the ad hoc committee as proposed by ANC Chief Whip on party political funding being made transparent and be open to scrutiny. Now,